How's it going, everyone, guys? Welcome to the second episode of Tooned Up, the animation podcast for the Renegade Pop Culture Network. I am Mike. I will be your captain for this tour around the world of animation. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce the rest of the panel, with starting with my co-host Cameron.
Howdy, y'all.
And Josh.
Hey, what's up?
And Kristal will be joining us later in the program once we get into the meat of the topic, which is Trolls World Tour. This is the new release that is due to the coronavirus as now premiered at home instead of in theaters. But before we get to that, Cameron, I believe you have some news to discuss. What do you got?
Alrighty, so the last time I was previously on Tooned Up, we had a few delays. Bob's Burgers was delayed to next year. SpongeBob Sponge on the Run was delayed to July of this year. Minions: The Rise of Gru was delayed to next year due to the animators having to work from home and are not able to complete the film. Scoob has been delayed until further notice with no real release date confirmed. And G-Kids has picked up the distribution rights to the highly anticipated Lupin III the First, the franchise's first entry into CGI animation. There is also a rumor going around that G-Kids will be picking up the anime film Her Blue Sky, which is by Mari Okada of Anohana and Makia fame, which is about a second-year high school student who is an aspiring musician, and her older sister's ex-boyfriend is a struggling guitarist. So it's very young, coming of age, and music focused. So take this with a grain of salt. There's no real confirmation on it, but we will see what happens there. The
G-Kids does acquire that. That movie does sound right up my alley.
Yeah. The Annecy International Film Festival, the E3 of animation from around the world, has been canceled, or at the very least, so far, the physical festival has been canceled. They are going to announce the lineup for a virtual festival on April 15th. So basically, probably by the time you hear this, we will know what will be competing and what will be shown off to the public, or to some extent people who work in journalism. So we'll have to see what happens there. And for some other foreign animation delights to be on the lookout for, there is a movie coming out called Ongaku Our Sound, a Japanese animated film about high school delinquents who have never touched an instrument decide to form a band. And it's probably the closest thing you can come to indie animation in Japan due to its rough look but just unique flair. There is also the film coming from Production IG called The Deer God, which is being directed by Masashi Ando, who worked plenty on Studio Ghibli projects and will be made by Production IG, who basically made a bunch of anime, too many to count. I'm not going to waste time talking about it. But the Deer King, sorry, I might have messed up the names. Anyway, the Deer King is by the creator of the manga Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit. You may have seen the anime when it aired on Adult Swim a while back. Bones, the studio behind My Hero Academia, the Cowboy Bebop movie, and Sword of the Stranger are making a new movie called Josie, the Tiger and the Fish, which will be released this year. And that's all that I have for the indie foreign animation scene.
That those all sound like pretty interesting projects.
Yeah, no, it's always a delight to find out what's going on across the world.
Pretty varied, pretty diverse. A lot of selection.
Yeah. So, shall we move on to the next news thing?
Yeah. This one is pretty interesting. You know, this podcast has accidentally turned into intense criticism of Disney, and and that's not going to stop anytime soon because, according to Variety, one of their next projects for Disney Plus is a remake of Robin Hood. Now, the only hard facts we know right now are that it's being developed by the director of Blind Spotting, that is Carlos Lopez Estrada. So that's a name that has me the most curious about this movie, because another indie director who made one of my favorite Disney live action remakes was David Lowery, who directed Pete's Dragon and is also working on a remake of Peter Pan. So what do you guys think about this project?
You go ahead first, Cameron.
All right, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate, but I'm not fully happy with this announcement. First off, Blind Spotting is one of 2018's best movies. If you have not seen it, do so. It is a fantastic movie that is written by Daveed Diggs and his co-writing partner, and it's a really, really good movie. Probably one of Lionsgate's best releases. Second, this is not entirely the worst film to remake because of the original Robin Hood, while being super nostalgic to many, is considered Disney's cheapest made film and is notorious for reusing and rehashing animation from many of their previous films. And it's not one of their strongest ones, so a remake wouldn't be the worst idea. On the other hand, you're taking a super talented indie director and you're giving him a boilerplate photorealistic animation film to Robin Hood, and I don't know. I want him to work on like at Pixar or something, and I'll give him some wiggle room and hope that this is kind of like a homework assignment, saying like, "Hey, you make this for us, and depending on how it turns out, we'll let you do whatever." Because this was part of that announcement where they hired a bunch of unique and varied directors to make. Well, it was supposed that they were making animated films, but to hear that he's being put on one of the Disney remakes is a little disappointing. But like you said, Pete's Dragon turned out great, so we'll have to see. I'm kind of mixed.
I somewhat agree. I mostly agreed. Like, I have a lot of nostalgia for Robin Hood, and I actually showed it to Kristal not too long ago, her and her siblings, and I did not remember it being as cheap as it was. There are even points in the movie they reused their own animations that they probably did for the movie that were recycled from other movies in this big dance scene in the middle.
Yeah.
But I can't help but feel like Robin Hood, more than anything, was one of those that doesn't need to be remade, because as cheap as Robin Hood is, there's a charm to it that I can't explain. Like, it's one of the more relaxed Disney movies, while also kind of dark in a sense. Like,
It's kind of like The Sword in the Stone, in
yeah,
in the sense of that like laid back tone.
Yeah.
I think Sword in the Stone is probably no doubt the better of the two, but Robin
For
Hood
sure.
undeniably. But Robin Hood has this charm that can appeal to anybody. Like even them as they were roasting it for how cheap it was, they still really liked it. And back then, Disney was such a very weird time where they weren't so preoccupied with a squeaky clean image. I mean, they had a character getting just sauced, and they had a character robbing from a church.
Yep.
Which I had to admit, even now, like I remember as a kid, that scene was just really like pit in the stomach, just kind of cold and cynical and dark. And even rewatching it, it was like that moment hits hard. And the problem I have with modern Disney, at least in terms of remakes like this, they lose sight of what makes the original so endearing.
I will say the thing that holds up surprisingly well about Robin Hood is, like you said, the personality, the charm. And it really all starts with the rooster starting us off, and of course, timeless, like Robin Hood, Little John running through the forest. Like, everybody knows that song. A
Yeah,
phone company used that song because it's so iconic. And there's just a lot of charm to the characters. Granted, Maid Marian disappears for the entire third half of the movie, but there's still like fun little moments, and Prince John is still a funny villain. And
I think he might be one of my favorite of the like the pathetically funny villains.
yeah, and like, and this is just a voice acting thing for me. You don't hear voices like this anymore. Like
no, you don't.
Prince John, Little John, Robin Hood himself, even the sheriff, who is just a despicable, loathsome character. Like, you don't hear that anymore.
He's
And
just so slimy and condescending. Just you want to punch him in the face every time he shows up.
yeah. So it's like I'm not shocked people are upset about this. And it is like, Disney, you have so much money. You could literally do like 10 films and they would bomb and you'd still be okay. Um, and yet it I want to see some footage of this first. I want to see what the characters are going to look like, and I want to see what the story is.
Because none of you guys have brought it up yet, I'll point out sort of the obvious problem that I have with this remake. I don't understand why Disney of all people are trying to bring back Robin Hood when, like, less than 2 years ago, Lionsgate tried their own version that, failed miserably.
Yeah, I think they lost like $200 million.
You just gave me a horrifying thought that I have my YouTube friend, my YouTube sister, Gwendolyn J. Stone. She tweeted out the other day, "We're gonna get another adaptation of Robin Hood, and he's gonna be played by Tom Holland. I swear to God." And now I can just see it.
Oh my!
I don't know. I kind of dig it, but also I don't need more Tom Holland right now, since he's got to work on that Uncharted film. So
we're assuming that Uncharted movie is even happening.
yeah,
we'll talk. We're gonna bring that up someday on the general discussion, because oh my God, that is a can of worms.
Speaking of things that are happening, next month on May 3rd, Rick and Morty season 4 returns.
Woo!
I'm glad about that.
We haven't had the chance to talk about it yet, but how are you guys enjoying Rick and Morty so far?
I'm enjoying it. It's still a lot of the same sharp writing and creative commentary. I'm a little worried that they're going to start tripping over themselves. Like, they're going to be their worst enemy and get in their own way. but I'm still liking the series. Yeah, so that's just me.
I've heard some negative criticism about season 4, how it's not quite as fresh as like the previous seasons. But my rebuttal to that is the snake episode, which is probably one of the funniest, like probably the funniest 30 minutes I've seen, like in quite some time. And I love how the more that episode, like as the episode progresses, the sillier the time travel element gets.
Yeah.
Because I recall in the past that like Dan Harmon has like never really been a fan of like time travel stories. So this was like the one episode where it's like, let's get all the bad ideas and just shove them into one episode.
Yeah, that sounds like Dan Harmon. And I will say I did love seeing Key and Peele's characters return
Oh
at
yeah.
the very end. And the show is still like very unique. But I'm sure it's like, okay, we've had a lot of shows be kind of cynical, hyper violent, very pessimistic. Yeah, I can understand some people saying Rick and Morty is starting to feel like the rest. But I'm still trying to find shows that are smarter and more creative, that the fan base is kind of missing the point on at points, but it's still highly enjoyable. But
It's interesting you bring up the fan base because I feel really bad because I love Dan Harmon. He is probably my biggest ongoing inspiration as a writer. I think I mentioned it in the staff profile, but this season of Rick and Morty, I haven't been able to watch a single episode, and I haven't had the drive to lately, and it's solely because of the fan base. Like, is it weird that like, as much as I really was looking forward to Rick and Morty, I love what I've seen. The show is great, even if season 3, I think, got a little bit too dark for its own good. Like, it focused too much on drama and not enough on story and comedy. If that makes sense.
yeah.
But
A little bit.
but season 4, like after everything that happened with season 3, just how cynical everything felt, and then on top of that, how terrible the fan base was, like just the whole Szechuan sauce incident.
Oh,
It was enough to make me think like I could live a year or two without Rick and Morty.
that's the problem, and it's like people like the hyper violence, they like the comedy and the writing. But I think some people, and I know this is going to sound snobbish, I apologize, and I do mean that, they're missing the point of some of the themes that the show touches upon, and like Rick as a character. And like Movie Bob has pointed this out, and it's tough because Rick is not a good person. And a lot of his antics are wildly self destructive. And yet people think he's like, an icon. You should live up to him. And it's like, I don't think you want to. And like the whole pickle Rick thing, I think is a good example because, he turned himself into a pickle to get out of family therapy. He did not want to confront himself or how he interacts with the family, and he almost dies. And just by the miracle of God, he doesn't, and he somehow keeps failing upwards through that whole episode. It's tough. I understand. Like, I think fan bases, especially the vocal ones that make everything hard for everyone, do ruin the aspect of enjoying a show like Rick and Morty.
which is why I'm thankful that DuckTales is one of the very few shows that not only has a fan base that, isn't incredibly toxic, but it like the fan base kind of makes the experience of watching the show just that much better. Now, is anyone here caught up with season 3 of DuckTales?
I am not, sadly. I dropped off, not because of lack of interest. It's just I need to find time to sit down and watch it. And since I have Disney Plus now, I'm going to catch up on it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it, especially since that pilot was free on YouTube a while back, and I really liked it. And let me ask Kristal, because she just walked in. Kristal.
By the way, hey all, Scott here.
Kristal, have you seen DuckTales?
Absolutely not. Wait, is it the Disney show?
Yeah.
The one, the one that's on Disney right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I have maybe watched 2 minutes of an episode, and that's it. I like the animation style.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the animation is really good,
and a good cast also. And I will say, maybe I'm going to be one of the few people who noticed it. There's a very specific Lupin III, the Castle of Cagliostro Easter egg in the pilot episode, and it's when they're going through traffic. You can see a dog character, obviously dressed as Jigen from the Lupin III series. It's basically a Castle of Cagliostro Easter egg, and I freaked out when I saw that, because I was like, okay, I like the cut of the jib of this team working on the show.
That's a good catch. I didn't even see that my first time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now I know you guys aren't caught up, but I'll say some vague, non-spoilery things about season 3 and why I'm excited for the season. So I don't know if you follow the showrunners, Frank Angonis and Matt Youngbird on Twitter, but Frank especially is always teasing like how connected this new version of DuckTales is to the Disney Universe shows, like the Disney Afternoon. So shows like Darkwing Duck, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the original DuckTales.
Yeah.
All of those exist in the new DuckTales universe. And in season 3 so far, they've taken that and ramped it up to 11. Like one of the new episodes has Goofy as a guest star.
Yeah, he's in his Goof Troop incarnation.
Yep.
Yeah, I might not be caught up with the show, but since I'm friends of a lot of people who watch it, I get the announcements and the fan excitement, so I understand.
And what's special about that, like, of that moment too, is that this year marks the 25th anniversary of a Goofy movie. And my buddy PJ Campbell is doing a watch along of that tomorrow night, which will probably already be out by the time this podcast is released. But that movie, a Goofy movie, has been one of like the staples of my childhood. Something I watched like not as often as like the Disney Renaissance films, but often enough that it has a lot of nostalgia, and I'm looking forward to revisiting that again.
I watched the movie recently, and for a movie that's set in the 90s, this movie ages surprisingly well. Like, you would think it wouldn't, because it's like one of those little Disney side films and whatnot. But it stands the test of time. And it's weird how it does, because you would think like, oh, it has Pauly Shore, it has more modern elements in it, or at least 90s modern elements. But it's touching. There's like little cues from like certain characters, and it just like, it's hard to explain unless you actually watch it. There's something about the film that makes it stand out from the rest and ages better than a lot of what Disney makes. So that should be a fun watch.
You guys are making me want to watch it. I've never seen it in my life. I kind of wished I watched it today. I've never seen it.
Me neither. I'm kind of wishing that we had watched that movie instead of Trolls. Jesus Christ.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
There's a couple more things that I want to bring up before we get to the main event. Another movie from my childhood that I've seeing a lot of people watching recently. The Prince of Egypt. You guys know that it's my favorite film of all time. But something I discovered recently was on Spotify. I found the original cast recording for a stage production at the West End Theatre in London, and I gotta say, the soundtrack for the musical might be just a touch better than the film soundtrack.
Does it have "Let My People Go"?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my god!
It has all the classic songs from the movie, except for "Playing with the Big Boys," which is kind of like it's been melded into the Plagues.
Oh no, we're missing out on the Steve Martin market.
Yeah, that's one. I'm glad they could blend away. I'm good with that. Dog.
I'm not good with sarcasm, but golly, that song sticks out of that movie in a bad way.
I love it because it's so cheesy and over the top.
Yeah, I actually like that song. The one that I prefer not to listen to in the entire movie is "When You Believe."
Yeah, that's my least favorite, but I still like it in the context of the story.
Yeah, but it's still so vanilla compared to the other songs.
When did that one come in? I don't remember the titles of the songs.
That's at the very end where all the Jews are.
Is it leaving. right after Ramsey's son dies and Moses goes to his sister, and then she starts singing?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, that song. Yeah. No.
I'll always remember that. Just back when I liked the Nostalgia Critic and he was comparing the Ten Commandments with the Prince of Egypt, he was talking about that. It gets to that scene and she goes, "Many nights we've prayed." And he goes, "Oh my God, all the firstborns are dead. Can you kill it with the show tunes?"
One of the few jokes that ages well from that guy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's awesome. I mean, I don't think about it a whole lot, but Prince of Egypt might be DreamWorks' best overall movie. And it's really good, people. Just if you haven't seen it, go see it.
It's on Hulu for those wondering.
Jesus Christ, I just typed in West and then E, and the second thing was West End Prince of Egypt.
Oh wow.
You gotta link us the soundtrack like when all this is said and done.
I believe I posted it on my wall a couple days ago.
I gotta find it.
Yeah, Shit. it's so good.
Well, awesome.
Look into it.
All right, I think we've vamped long enough. Time to get into the main event. So, in an unprecedented event, due to the coronavirus, Universal and DreamWorks opted to release Trolls World Tour for the first time, skipping the theater and going straight to VOD. I've seen the movie twice now because $20 is way too much for a rental. I get why they need to do that, but still, I had to get my money's worth.
$20 is quite a lot, and I don't blame you for watching it multiple times to make it worth it. Unless you have a family or you're going to set up a watch party where your friends can chip in $5 or whatever. $20 is demanding, especially like no matter the quality for Trolls World Tour. It's a lot to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're expecting a lot out of those families. Like you're like, oh my god, please, just if it'll shut them up, fine. We'll put on bright flashing lights.
Oh man, I can tell you like the movie.
Who wants to go first? Because me and Kristal got a lot to say.
Well, first off, I've seen the first movie, and if anybody remembers, I talked about the first movie and how the teaser for it is quite possibly the worst teaser for an animated film out there. And that's saying something when you have Duck Duck Goose and Norm of the North.
Mm-hmm.
But the first film was able to elevate itself. I wouldn't call it one of DreamWorks' best. Maybe kind of hovers around the top 20 for them. But I liked the fact that a film that could have easily been super vapid tried to talk about happiness and just how you, as an individual, find it. And it has a lot of things I don't like about DreamWorks movies, like having a ton of characters that don't do anything, but they hire celebrities for them anyway. Like Gwen Stefani's in the movie, at least in the first one, and she does nothing. She doesn't even have a line of dialogue, but I guess she helps sing in some sequences. So
Yeah, I literally don't remember Stefani at all from the first one.
Yeah, me neither.
Kind of reminds me of Kelly Clarkson in this movie.
We'll get to that. But I liked that aspect, and I liked like at the end when they're kind of like at their lowest moment, and it is just like it's a film that's saying only you can find your own happiness. You can't just rely on it. And there's a cool little thing that they do with the Bergens, and it's not subtle because it's like if we want to be happy, we have to eat these happy things so we can be happy. And I think that's very interesting from just a psychological standpoint. But like it's a harmless movie. I don't have any vitriol towards it. Now the sequel, I'll just do a quick little what I think about it, and then we'll go into detail after we hear from you, Mike, and y'all. Go ahead.
Okay, it's been a while since I've seen the first one. I was supposed to rewatch it over the weekend, but got caught up in other things. But
yeah, no problem.
I'll be honest. I think Trolls World Tour is, well, for one, it carries the DreamWorks tradition of the number 2 entry being superior to the original.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's I don't know if it's on the same level as like Shrek 2 or How to Train Your Dragon 2, but it's probably about as good as like the Madagascar sequels. In terms,
I think that's pretty accurate. It's not Kung Fu Panda 2 or How to Train Your Dragon 2 good.
Oh yeah.
I do think there's a lot more going on that I'm sure we're going to talk about it. It's not that it's perfect or anything. It's not flawless. But all things considered, with how they market this movie and its DreamWorks isms, I still liked it. I watched it 3 times. So
you have one more viewing over me.
Yeah. So I technically enjoyed it, but I mean the year is still young. We'll have to see if it stays in my top 10 animated films of the year or not, or we'll have to see what happens with what's going on right now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one more general comment to say.
Yeah.
I think above all else, one of the things I really like about this movie more than the original is there's more original music this time around. Like, yes, it's still a jukebox musical, and yes, like the like the medleys can get a little overstuffed, but when the songs work, they really work.
I can agree to that. I think that's very true.
I'm just looking
All
over and I'm seeing Kristal like just recoiling.
All
I
right,
have
Josh.
a very differing opinion.
All right.
All right. So general thoughts, you two?
Well, I think they hit their target, like their target audience, which is definitely not people like me and Josh.
It was very overwhelming. I almost admired it for the fact that it felt like the first 30 minutes was like just barraging any viewers where it's like, look, this is what the movie is going to be like. If you are not on board, you can bow out right now.
And I wanted so badly to bow out.
I needed 2 Mike's Hard Lemonades to get through it, and it kind of made all the difference because I started to sit back and just be like, all right, I'm along for the ride. And initial thoughts, it is... I have a lot more negative things to say about it, but on the whole, you're right. It's harmless. You can show this to your kid. If I were to describe it, I remember a while back, I think I mentioned it before, but a friend of mine on Facebook named Jackson Shrout, he talked about the Despicable Me series, like the Blue Sky animation box set that didn't include the Peanuts movie because it wasn't out yet. And he said, this is a great thing to buy for your family, especially for your kids while you're busy cheating on their mom.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch.
This was not for me. This movie frustrated me, but it's harmless, and I'm more frustrated because there's good ideas in the movie.
Yep.
You know, I cannot say that this was a bad movie. It was not at all a bad movie. It just wasn't for me at all. I found myself the entire time praying and wishing that I had been born in 1998 rather than 2002, so that I could at least have something to get me through it.
Well, I understand that the first part of this movie is not paced the best.
No.
So it was definitely overwhelming to a degree, and it doesn't help that the first musical sequence is big, flashy lights, and they're playing the Daft Punk song, and it's a lot to take in at first.
Yeah, definitely. But I will say that they definitely upped the animation from the last movie. Absolutely. The animation was so crisp and clean. I wanted it to be good so badly.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the video game Yoshi's Woolly World or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Just how little things here and there, like the clouds, they looked like they were actually made of cotton, and the world had this velvety feel to it. Like it felt like a very cozy world. But I
said something in my letterbox review that like in terms of the animation style that they really wear their like stop motion like velvet storybook influences like proudly on their sleeves.
Oh yeah.
Like that chase scene when they're breaking out of the like the country the country town prison.
Yeah, they were really showing off.
But in a good way.
Like,
those were nice.
I watched that sequence and I'm like, and I was like reminded instantly of like the works of Nick Park and like the Wallace and Gromit style of like how they do their like action sequences.
Yeah, the one thing it reminded me the most of was the Lego Movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they have like that similar like sort of like pseudo stop motion style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you bring up the Lego movie, because that's my biggest problem with this movie. It's just the writing.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, they do land some of the comedy. Like, the writing isn't terrible, but it could be better.
When the jokes hit, for me at least, they hit bullseyes.
Yeah, I will give it that.
Like, there was one joke at the very end when spoilers, Justin Timberlake's troll, I don't remember his name, I think it was Branch or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's Justin Timberlake?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He they turn him into a rock zombie, and he says, who wants to go get tattoos on their body but not on their face in case they want to work an office job?
that joke had me cackling.
Yeah.
I will say, for a comedy, I don't think this movie should be labeled as one, or I guess I wouldn't label it as such. I feel like it focused more on the drama aspect of it all. Like I don't know. I don't think a lot of the jokes hit for me, but that was a very funny joke. And even though they showed it off in the trailer, I still love when they sneak behind the stage of the rock trolls at the end, and then like I don't need to explain the joke. You see it in the trailer. But it's like, yeah, I think when it hits, but when it falls flat, it's kind of like how I felt about Smallfoot from 2 years ago, because it's like I wouldn't really call that film a comedy, and only a few jokes land for me in that film because it's
you know what this movie and Smallfoot have in common?
what?
They both have like rap songs that sort of that change like the narrative of what we knew before.
Oh, that's right. Let It Lie. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man,
and Let It Lie is like probably one of my favorite songs from that movie, and I kind of like I think the track is called All Is Love in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it has that similar like that similar vibe.
Yeah, no, it does. Because I found myself getting slightly more invested with the drama and the story of World Tour, and it's not like there weren't like a lot of jokes to laugh at. It just like, to me, that wasn't the focus of the film, or at least to me it feels like it wanted to be more story focused and such. And like I liked the themes that the story has. You can take a lot from it, and I think this is why it's connecting with a lot of people, because of what you find out with the musical strings, and just how you hear the dialogue and the rap sequence when they meet the funk trolls. And I missed this the first time because I was like, oh, it's just kind of saying what actually happened. But then you listen to the lyrics, and I was caught off guard by what they were saying. And it's like, is Trolls World Tour talking about
Cultural appropriation?
Yeah, cultural appropriation and like colonialism, and like, and then it's like, even on like surface level, you can take it as like pop music has taken over actual music, because when's the last time you heard a rock song on the music charts, unless you go to a specific rock station, or just like anything else, or like country that's not like bro country and all that jazz. It's a film that aims high, and I admire it for that, because they could have easily just made this another jukebox musical, and I admire that they went further than they really had to.
Yeah, that's the thing about this movie, that people who are calling it a cash grab, I not only don't agree, but I just don't think they were paying attention to, some of the deeper themes that lie in this movie. Like the problems that I have, and believe me, we will get there.
Oh, yeah.
The problems lie more in execution than the ideas themselves, because the themes they're going for are really strong, and I think this is a movie that does a better job at educating like children than actual edutainment from when we were kids. Like I would feel much better about showing kids this movie in school than any of those like dumb after school specials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's a good idea. And though I will say this movie does have a couple of background gags that, like, if you're not paying attention, are surprisingly dark. Like when they're in the country town area, you'll see a bunch of those cow-like creatures going behind a barbecue store.
Oh yeah,
they do not. You do not see him go across the other side.
Oh my god!
And then it's like you see a troll walk out, and he's holding a plate of burgers.
Oh no!
Like this movie goes places, and it's weird. And I don't think it goes as far as like the Angry Birds movie 2 does in terms of like let's push the envelope in some kind of way. But I love little scenes like that, and there's a sequence in the opening when you meet the techno trolls, the mermaid trolls. And there's after Rachel Bloom's character wrecks the stage area, the king of techno trolls is like, please, like, don't hurt us. We've worked very hard to build this identity of ours. And it's like, is this like an LGBT thing? And because that's how I took it, because it's like I said, the writing has moments that like have something deeper than what they're saying, but that's just me.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm not saying this is like great. I'm not saying this is like Pete Docter talking about Inside Out or Up. But for all things considered, with Trolls World Tour, it's wild where it goes with some of the dialogue.
Also, Rachel Bloom as Queen Barb is probably one of the best characters.
If we're talking the best character, I think Sam Rockwell stole the show for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's like it fluctuates between him and Queen Barb.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell, in his ever-going journey of being typecasted as a Southern individual.
But he also has a German accent.
Yeah,
yes.
That's true. Okay, yeah. Should we talk about some slightly more spoilery stuff, or?
I was under the impression this was gonna be a complete spoiler discussion anyway.
Okay. So yeah,
the gloves are off.
I think that was. I mean, you could see this kind of coming a mile away, but I did like how they handled Sam Rockwell's character as you first meet him as Hickory, the country troll, and then you find out he's one of the Yodeler trolls along with his cohort, and yeah, I think Sam Rockwell steals the show a little bit, and I like that he's not just like a super reluctant bounty hunter. Like, I think there is like a slight change in character. I think it's kind of like the boat captain from Klaus. There's something that happens with that character, and it's a very kind of blink and you miss it kind of turn for him. I think that's happened with Trolls, with his character.
Yeah, I like that. It was never revealed that he was like always evil,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bounty hunter, but at the end of the day, he just wants to keep his music alive.
Like
he
I
just
said,
wants to preserve.
Yeah, go ahead.
He just wants to preserve his culture. That's it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It's like you could. That's what I like about this movie. It's just these people. They're not fighting to conquer the world. It's Queen Barb is.
Yeah, except for the.
Yeah, except for her.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone is just like, I just want to survive, and I don't want you to just take away what makes us us. And I think that's smart because they could have easily made this very black and white, very Disney Pocahontas, but they didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm just thinking right now.
Though I will say one of my problems, and this is mostly a DreamWorks problem, I don't care about these side characters. I give kudos that they give Ron Funches and James Corden's character a little more to do, but everyone else, they don't do a whole lot, or they do nothing to the story. You basically get Tiny Diamond as this gag of how we find out about how trolls are born, because educational.
I was very confused about that.
And I was surprised to find out that Kenan Thompson was Tiny Diamond, though now knowing
I recognized him immediately.
It took me until watching the actual movie to find out that was him. I was like, oh, who is this? And it's like, oh, duh. Because he has a very distinct tone. And understandably, Ozzy Osbourne is going through some very health-related issues right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, because I understand why they used his music and they got him as Queen Barb's dad. But you could have taken him out. I mean, not take the character out, but you could have gone someone else because he only has a few lines and doesn't really do a whole lot. And it's my problem with DreamWorks in general when they do this. They introduce a bunch of side characters that they're not going to do anything for the movie, or not a whole lot. But, you'll see them in the TV series. And it bugs me a little when they do that, because there's a new pop troll named Legsley, the troll that can extend her legs for some reason.
Which is weird.
They don't do anything with her. She does nothing. So what was the point of that character? And you don't see Gwen Stefani's troll character. I don't know why they couldn't get her back, but I guess they had too many pointless characters. And it's disappointing, and that's how I kind of feel about some of the other troll characters that we meet, like Kelly Clarkson. First off, I don't know if I would have gone her to be the country singer.
I thought it was Shania Twain.
I almost thought it was Casey Musgraves at first, but I'm like, that can't be right.
No, and I get it. Kelly Clarkson is a hot commodity right now. She has her own talk show. She's on The Voice. She was a guest judge on a quickfire challenge on Top Chef. I get it. But
I guess what we're trying to say here is that all country singers sound exactly the same.
Well, I didn't want to say, because I was just like, okay, who would have I gone? And I was just like, I gotta find out about more female country singers that are not Reba McEntire or Dolly Parton.
I was half joking, but I actually would have preferred if it was Casey Musgraves.
And it's not like she does a bad job. I'm just not fully convinced of her acting skills. And I mean, she does what she can. She has a great personality, but you don't see her character a whole lot, and then she just kind of vanishes for most of the movie. And the same can be said about a lot of the bounty hunter characters, like the smooth jazz troll with probably the best weird sequence of the movie.
Yeah.
But then he vanishes, and you don't see him until the end. And I like jazz music. I even like the cheesy, like smooth jazz stuff.
Same.
I feel bad that he still kind of gets like he's the butt of the joke of the music.
I mean, smooth jazz isn't that bad.
Sebastian would be just absolutely like frustrated with Jazz's portrayal in this movie. You do not want to show this to Damien Chazelle or Ryan Gosling.
I mean, that's another thing that I had a problem with the movie with. Like, their whole message is like, oh, we're all the same, but we're all different, and it's okay.
But Jazz, screw them.
Rock and roll people, they're all nasty devil worshippers.
For me, the movie felt like it felt like the equivalent of like a pastor saying rock and roll is the devil's music and it's going to corrupt the land.
Yeah, I get why they chose like hard rock and such, and I'd be lying. I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy Rock You Like a Hurricane and Crazy Train and such. I loved those song choices, but that's just me. I'm very old school with my rock and roll.
No, I agree.
The song choices were actually pretty great. I'm glad they even included Barracuda because that song is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I finally found out about the lyrics to Crazy Train because I was just like, what are the lyrics to that song? And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, obvious. But the music selection in this one was like good, but that first sequence when like they do the girls just want to have fun cover with trolls.
They really overstuffed that sequence. That and the second medley when they were in the country town.
Oh yeah.
I get it. They chose terrible pop songs, and that's the joke. Because you like Who Let the Dogs Out, ironically. But that sequence is too much. It's kind of like when Sony Pictures Animation, when they speed up their animation, like they speed up the comedy and the movements, it's too much. And Trolls World Tour, for better or worse, does this quite a lot.
Yeah, Josh can attest to this. When that scene came up, I retracted into my sweater.
She turned into a turtle for a second. She was just like, oh my god, please let me know when they stop singing.
And it's not like the music selection is bad or like the singing is bad. It is terrible. Like Sam Rockwell sings his own songs, but then it's like you get the sequence when the K-pop trolls and the reggaeton trolls go against one another, and that was a little much, even though it wasn't as bad as the country trolls or the opening sequence. And by the way, this is a world you really can't break apart, not because it's like, oh, it's deeper than you think. No, it's just don't think too hard about it.
Because for example, something Cameron and I talked about off the air. Think about the existence of K-pop in this world, and then think about does this world have a Korea?
Yeah, and that means
it was more frustrating that the K-pop trolls sounded American. And then the reggaeton trolls. I was just confused what reggaeton was for a second because my brain farted out for a second.
You are such a coconut.
Oh my god!
You amaze me every single day with how much of a coconut you are. We live on the border.
I blanked out for a second, but the way they were dressed made them look like they were Jamaican, and then suddenly they're speaking Spanish.
Which that's another thing. Like, there's got to be a Mexico in this world.
Órale.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, like I said, you can't think too hard about that, or else everything just falls apart. But let's talk about the worst problem in the movie, or at least to me, the worst problem.
What is your worst problem?
Yeah, let's talk about Branch.
Branch,
No, I'll get this done quickly.
Yeah, go ahead, because I have a few things to add to your point.
All right. First off, from the first film, I liked how they handled Branch. He wasn't just a grump with like, oh, I don't like parties and music and glitter.
He had a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, but he had a practical reason to, because what we see in the first movie, that loud pop music dancing stuff let a berg into them, and they got captured. And it's like, yeah, you want to hide from these giants that then turns the film into Attack on Titan.
Oh my god.
And then it's like he was a better male lead than you would think he was. But then they do what seems like a trend right now in animated sequels. He doesn't get a whole lot of a story. His story wrapped up in the first movie. So then he gets I want to tell the female lead I love her, but I don't know how. It's the same problem we've seen with Ralph Breaks the Internet, where Ralph regressed as a character. The same with Kristoff, and I know, Mike, you have something to say about that, and I agree with it. And now it happens here, where most of the story should and does focus on Poppy, but it doesn't really give anything to Branch as a character. He doesn't really have anything outside of, I want to tell her I love her, but I don't know how. And I'm not saying you can take him out and not miss anything. You kind of have to have him in there to call out Poppy. But I wish his character was handled better.
Yeah, definitely.
And something that I noticed that I forgot, they kind of reused his Before I Found My True Colors look. So he has
I was confused by that.
He has the black hair and instead of the blue hair. And I'm wondering why that is. And I don't know if I'm missing something or
it's probably just the lighting, because there are some scenes where he is, his true colors when it's more like when it's in a more brighter setting. But a lot of his scenes take place either at night or they're in dark places, which is why it looks like he's more which is why it looks like he's literally regressed to his original state.
I saw the hints of blue from time to time, but I just found it weird because it just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, you can't even make that argument because, I mean, in the first movie, there was a clear difference between how he was before and then after.
Yeah, so, but that's just me. I think Branch gets the shortest end of the
branch.
Yeah. Yes. But that's just how I feel.
Okay, so both Branch and Kristoff have the same problems in terms of how little how low their arcs are.
Yeah.
But what sets them apart, Kristoff gets Lost in the Woods, which is one of the best songs of the Frozen 2 soundtrack. That's not sung by Idina Menzel.
Backstreet's back, and it is all right.
Whereas Branch gets one of my least favorite scenes in this movie, which is the breakup scene. It's one of my pet peeves in like family films when they have to have like the forced breakup just for the sake of advancing the plot.
Yeah.
But with this movie specifically, it bugged me. Because Branch was already like basically just reduced to, hey, I'm just gonna support you and I'm just there to be your support system.
Right.
But also his arc was pretty much, I want to tell her I love her, but I don't know how, and then she's gonna do something stupid.
Because there's like a lot of good scenes between her, Poppy and Branch. Like I like the sequence during the country troll visit when they're listening to the Born to Die sequence. Um, and it's
Which
like,
I didn't understand. Why on earth did they just waltz into town?
Dark.
But it's not that dark.
Johnny Cash he sang a song where he basically did cocaine and killed his woman and then ran to Mexico.
oh boy.
Country's insane, okay? Charlie Parker almost got decapitated because of a symbol. Music is intense, Kristal, and country is even more intense. It's that drunk uncle that you have.
Anyway, there's a scene I like, where it's just like, well, the song is kind of sad, but sometimes life is sad, and it kind of hits off at the point of like, Poppy's not listening, and and there's like moments like that, but there's not enough moments like that. So Branch does get relegated to the side character thing, and
Another problem I picked up in my second viewing was, I wish that Poppy, how should I put this? So in the rap song, when they reveal the truth about what happened to the strings, that it was like the pop troll who wanted to take all the strings. I kind of wish that Poppy took a little bit more responsibility, and like that's when she started listening more, as opposed to waiting until the breakup scene.
there's not a whole lot of depth to her story, even though there's something there. It's just not fleshed
They just
out.
didn't execute it well.
Yeah, and there's a few other elements I wish they could have expanded upon, like Ron Funch's character gets a little more spotlight, and he finds out that he's a funk troll, and you find out that the funk trolls travel around, or I guess live in a UFO, and I kind of wanted there to be a little more to him and his story arc, but they kind of drop it once he reunites with his parents and his twin brother.
Yeah, there could have been a little more to add to that plot, because I was actually really invested in.
Yeah, I'd much rather watch a movie
family
about him than Poppy and Branch. I enjoyed watching those scenes more than the entire movie.
Yeah, and like Ron Funches can be great, and if you watch Harley Quinn, he is just the best, or one of the best.
I love his version of King Shark so much.
Yeah, his portrayal of King Shark is great, and it's just, again, some of these side characters just don't have a lot to them, even though they try to give them more. And then it's like, oh well, there's going to be a TV series, so you can expand on them there. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but I'm watching the movie. I want to know or invest more into them. And then it's like, I guess a nitpick. Why were the country trolls so hostile? Did they, was it because of the pop troll betrayal, or did they already get like invaded by the rock trolls?
It's because cowboys.
I mean, I get it, and but I don't. I guess that's just a nitpick for me. So I will say the little glowworm thing that James Corden's character carries around,
Mr. Dinkles.
Yeah, Mr. Pickles. He has a death wish.
Oh,
I don't know if anybody like.
I probably should have pointed this out, but the same writers who worked on this film also did the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, and the sequel, Sponge on the Run. So when I saw Mr. Dinkle's hallucination, I was immediately thinking about like the trippy sequences in Sponge Out of Water.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's funny. It kind of feels weirdly placed in the movie, and it's just like, okay, so has he been suffering this whole time by being connected? And I mean, it's funny because it's like he's about to go see the glowworm in the sky, and it's like, welcome home, son. And then he gets brought back to life, and he's hugely disappointed by it. And then at the end, when they're doing the dance credits, he goes into the coffin to hope that he gets,
Okay, we missed that. Like, as soon as the credits started rolling, we were like, oh, thank God.
There's a great mid-credit scene where you see the smaller Bergens from the first movie.
They show up at the last minute, like,
they're like,
we missed everything.
Looks like we missed the party. And then the prince is like, oh, balls. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, who's going to have my cheese balls? It's a dumb joke, but I love it.
That kind of dumb humor is exactly why I love movies like this. That just kind of revel in stupid humor like that.
Yeah, I think it's just like a lot of this frustration with Trolls. I think could be like it's like Illumination's film Sing. It's almost there. It just needed a little tweak here and there, and maybe just a little more of a rewrite of just like how some of the characters are treated. Because a lot of this could have been fixed.
At the end of the day, I would rather be frustrated by a movie that almost gets there than a movie that doesn't even try.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think I'd rather be frustrated at a movie that reaches but doesn't land than doesn't even bother. So
it's funny you mentioned that because, okay, my biggest problem with the movie is just, well, it's a lot of things. I mentioned before the writing, but it's more that I see two sources that the movie is trying to be while also being its own thing, and
I think I know where you're going with this, but
doesn't
continue.
hit it just right. It does not hit clear. You mentioned the Lego movie before, and I see that it's trying to be the Lego movie in its execution with its random adult humor that just works because you know that there's someone there that put the effort in that, and visual gags that are blink and you'll miss them, but they're brilliant also, and just an overall bigger story about identity, about music, about all that. I actually didn't mind the message, but it's just it focuses too much on being random and loud for its own good. Like it's getting too heady for kids. And then on top of that, and I think you might know where I'm getting with this, but very recently, I watched the SpongeBob movie.
The
first one?
Yeah,
the very first one.
Okay.
I will say real quick, I watched it with him, dying the entire time. I was dying, and Josh was too. That's the best thing about it.
And the thing of it is, I was in a very unique position with Trolls World Tour because I didn't see the first movie, and Kristal explained to me what was going on with Branch in the first movie, and oh my God, that sounds like a really dark idea to center your main character around. I see what you mean now about Branch's story, like really not amounting to much in this one.
Yeah, I mean, even granted the execution in the first film of like his tragic backstory, to be fair, I kind of laughed when you find out what exactly happened that made him a sourpuss. But
why can't you have fun? My grandma died because of me.
I killed my grandma. Jesus Christ. How could you laugh?
but it's like at least gives his character like agency of like why he acts like he does.
And with this movie, I have a bigger problem with that SpongeBob remedies, because I imagine there were a lot of parents, a lot of people that probably went into the SpongeBob movie. They may have heard of SpongeBob, but they went into it completely blind.
Yeah.
All I know is this guy's a sponge. They're underwater. There's fish everywhere. Bam. And the writers do their hardest to make you not only understand all the jokes that are happening where it makes sense in the world, as weird as it sounds, because that's one thing that struck me. The humor in that movie works so well.
Bald.
My eyes.
But if you had never seen an episode of SpongeBob and you're just going off of these characters, you would love them right away. SpongeBob is so endearing. Patrick as like the support system, he's also very endearing. You get everybody's character to a T. You like them, and even if you don't like them, you still like them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And with this one, also SpongeBob has a whole bunch of jokes about death and getting drunk, but that's beside the point. Trolls World Tour, my biggest problem that I had was that I did not care for most of the characters. I had 3 characters I cared for, and that was the long leg troll that goes to look for his for other people that are like him. Sam Rockwell's character, who turns out to be a yodeler.
Yeah.
And this is a weird one, but the little woodwind that stays behind.
Oh, penny whistle?
Yeah, penny whistle.
There's only one woodwind to build upon what came before. And then as soon as they leave, the camera pans away, and the little pebble he spent so long putting up falls on. He's
I was like, oh my god, that thing's adorable. I want one.
But I did not like the main troll lady.
Poppy.
Poppy was so frustrating as a character, just because it wasn't even just that she wasn't listening. It was she makes me think. This is why I bring up SpongeBob. She makes me think of what people think SpongeBob is like for people that don't watch SpongeBob. Just loud, unendearing happiness with no personality behind it, no depth.
I'll be honest. If she wasn't voiced by Anna Kendrick, I would be a little bit more critical. But I'm a little bit biased. So
Anna Kendrick earns no sympathy from me for just because of the Pitch Perfect sequels. And that one Disney movie that she did earlier this year that I got frustrated by. Yeah, Noelle.
Oh, God.
I could not bring myself to like that one.
I can understand Poppy being like a frustrating character because we've had a few movies like this past decade where they took the optimistic, happy character and then like expanded upon them, like with Hope from Inside Out.
Like Hope or Emmett from the Lego movie.
Yeah, so
or Paddington.
Or Paddington, which I still need to see.
Those 2 movies are great. Anyway, but yeah, fun fact about the little flute from the classical music Trolls. She's voiced by the actress who voices Ruby in Steven Universe.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I instantly picked up who that was. And as much as I like this film's kind of like multimedia look, I wish it could kind of commit to one or the other because the flute moves like it's stop motion. And but the trolls do not. And then there are like sequences like when James Corden's character is getting chased. It does kind of like a really different like shaky cam kind of look. Like when
yeah, where it's locked onto him, like he's Harvey Keitel in Mean Streets.
yes, and I think it's like, and it's like either commit to the animation style or just make it CG, play with the CG rules and such. Because in 2 weeks we're getting a film called The Willoughbys, which looks great. And it's CGI, but it fully commits to the Lego movie style of stop motion. And it's not distracting. It was fairly distracting for me for Trolls World Tour because you can tell the frame rate kind of drops, and you can tell that the characters or like the big rock tour animals move differently than everyone else.
Yeah.
And
the scene with Penny Whistle is the only time that like I really noticed like a sharp contrast between two characters with two distinct like animation styles in the same scene. But I don't think I had that problem for the rest of the film.
It's just something I noticed.
There was one shot in particular where it's at the very end where I think it's a shot of the funk.
Yeah, the funk trolls.
Yeah, the funk trolls, the queen and the king and queen, and it's looking past them. Like the queen is in the foreground, and then you can see all the other trolls in the background, like the audience. Yeah. And I swear to God, the audience was not moving at all.
There were slight movements, but yeah, if you aren't like looking at the background, you'd argue that they're not moving, or they're like the video game kind of thing where
it felt very cheap.
Well, which is weird because this movie, like I said, like with the velvety feel of it, it's so rich to look at. There's so much detail in it.
Yeah, and something that this is also a nitpick, but it's just a thing in general I don't like about big budget Hollywood animated films is the casting. Like we already talked about Kelly Clarkson, but they had George Clinton and Mary J. Blige as the funk king and queen, and
I do like though that they got George Clinton to play the dad. Yeah. Even though I agree with your larger point that DreamWorks of all the studios is the worst when it comes to celebrity voice casts.
Yeah, and they do this a lot in this movie. They'll have a celebrity pop in for like 2 minutes or like 2 lines, and then they are never seen again. And you would not know that was them. And it works differently than a cameo in like a comedy or something. Like there's a difference between a cameo in Trolls World Tour and a cameo in something like Last Action Hero. Like it's all in the execution, and it's also the fact that you're not seeing the actors in an animated film. You're hearing their voice, and when you're not giving them a good line or something, it's just like you could have just gotten a voice actor for that role, and they do that a lot. And I don't like the celebrity casting in this movie. Well, I like it, but
it doesn't help with a joke at all. Like, I'm sorry I keep bringing it up, but like the Lego movie, how like, or at least in the sequel, as far as I know, like in the sequel, they actually get Gal Gadot, I think, and Jason Momoa to play Lego Aquaman.
Yeah, they do,
and all that, and that's one of those like, hey, even if you don't know it, it's still funny, and when you do look into it, it's funnier.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, they really brought him on just to like say a few lines.
You know, Josh, you keep bringing up the Lego movie, and something I should point out that Mike Mitchell, the director for the first Trolls, actually directed the Lego sequel.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So
that's
right.
I thought Raphael
the connection is there.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm just going to say this. I did not get the point of the McElroy brothers appearing in the movie. I know there's that whole joke of them being like, let's ride or die and get into Trolls World Tour. But unless you know who they are, I don't care. I don't care who they are. I don't think the joke that they're in the movie is funny.
Who are they?
I think it's like a group of like a podcasting group. I think, but I'm not entirely sure. But it was just like it was this whole thing where they were just like, man, we want to be in this movie.
Their credit on Wikipedia is Skyscraper.
Yeah, well, they're in there a couple times. They're the Skyscraper troll. One of them is the techno beat button that's like that gets off of being pressed.
That's Justin.
Oh yeah,
That was
weird.
Weird. Like, I was not ready for that. And I thought, oh, I'm on board for weird humor like this, and then it just drops.
Yeah, and then they appear as like the rock tier and the country tier, the little tiers that go down the side of the face and such. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old school. It's just like, to me, just get voice actors. Zootopia did it. Wreck-It Ralph did it. Just
get Aaron Hansen.
No,
know. If you're going for YouTubers, go for like a YouTuber voice actors. If that's the case, get Aaron Hansen, Brock Baker, Nolan North.
Yeah, or it's and I think one of them appears in the country area where as the what are they called, tumbleweeds. Like when they do the whole pop thing, it's like you hear it's all quiet, you see in the background, and then just like at the last second, you suck. And I think that's one of them also, but I'm not sure. Though I will say, I do give him kudos that the director Walt Dorn replaced Queen Poppy's dad, who was previously played by Jeffrey Tambor, and I think he does a better job as Poppy's dad. But
yeah, I agree. I remember next to nothing about Poppy's dad from the first one.
Yeah, at least he has like a little more to say and such. But yeah, and I think I just ran out of stuff to talk about with Trolls World Tour.
All right, well, I guess that'll
well, I have something to say real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
I will say, however, like the movie is good, but my biggest gripe with it is that it's something that DreamWorks is really good at, but it's just absent here. They're so good at marketing towards both kids and adults. When it comes to, Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, those movies hit so well because they're so entertaining to kids and adults. This movie is just not that at all.
Yeah, I think overall, I think kids will like it. I think parents will have a tougher time sitting through the overabundance part.
But see, that's the thing that sucks about it, because these movies are they're supposed to bring families together, then something that everybody can be entertained by. But this is only for kids.
Yeah, I agree, and that's not a bad thing, of course. But it's also all I talk about this a lot. If you're going to make a comedy, you're going to make a family film comedy. That's fine. But if you're not going to go the distance, I'll find another movie that will. And that's tough because a lot of the animated stuff we get are comedies. And when there's a better comedy, I'm going to go to that better comedy.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just me.
It's admirable that DreamWorks has their new moneymaker now that Shrek is basically that bloodstone has been squeezed dry for all it's worth. Even though I would be down for a Puss in Boots sequel.
Actually, I wouldn't mind that.
But
yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
which Kristal hasn't seen Puss in Boots yet.
I think I have, just a long time ago.
But
you might like that one. I'd recommend it.
It really, I appreciate the fact that DreamWorks has a moneymaker that can keep the lights on while they're under Universal's arm, and Universal is kind of hit or miss when it comes to quality, I think.
Yeah.
But it especially sucks that during that Universal acquisition, we lost movies that could have been done by Del Toro and Edgar Wright. But
I'm still sad about Me and My Shadow,
which I saw the test footage for that a while back. Oh my god!
Yeah.
But you know what? If this keeps DreamWorks from going under, I'll suck it up. I'll grit and bear it if it means we're getting something else like, I don't know, like How to Train Your Dragon or even Abominable, which I didn't see, but I at least was curious enough about it.
I think you would dig Abominable.
Abominable is really good.
Yeah, it doesn't have the best marketing. Just don't base it off the trailer that you see and the bad blueberry joke. You'll see what I mean when you see the trailer. But that one's actually pretty good. DreamWorks is a frustrating company because when they make a really good movie, it's really good. And sometimes it's better than what Pixar and Disney puts out during that time period.
Absolutely.
There are a few.
I'm starting to see what you mean. Like, it's really frustrating. You were saying earlier how they're starting to make like these side characters that nobody cares about, but they're trying to shove in your face so hard. I'm realizing it's in How to Train Your Dragon 3 and Kung Fu Panda 3. The same thing is in there.
Yeah, and it's like they have a mindset of, we're going to make a movie and we're going to make a TV show based off of it.
They literally did make.
It's almost the cart before the horse syndrome.
Yeah, and it's like, even though you could blame a lot of the issues that they had with Jeffrey Katzenberg, he's no longer around. There's no like scapegoat for them, and it's sad because they used to be pretty good with experimenting. Like, the Madagascar films were good experimentation in comedy, and the second one, especially to me, is very, very funny. And then they had stuff like Rise of the Guardians, which was very like, it could have used another run through the script, but but it was definitely very creative and very dark for what they do. And then but seeing that their upcoming films are like The Croods 2, whenever that's coming out, The Boss Baby 2, a Spirit Riding Free movie, which is based off of the Netflix series.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, that's okay, I guess. And then it's like, but then there's The Bad Guys, which if you look up the source material about the books, it looks like it could be really good. But it's always like a gamble with a DreamWorks film, and I don't like saying that about a lot of these other studios, because I don't like saying, like, Disney and Pixar are usually a home run with their animated stuff. It's always a little I always kind of hesitate when it's like, I step into a theater, I get a ticket for a Blue Sky, an Illumination film, or DreamWorks, and it's like, oh well, let's see what happens.
But that's kind of why I think DreamWorks is, aside from Disney, my favorite animation studio, because, barring a few exceptions, they will at least try to take chances.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Like just talking about this, it just makes me want to watch. Go ahead.
For every Shark Tales, and fortunately, it never got worse than Shark Tales.
I'll say Shrek the Third got close.
got close, but I think Shark Tales is still worse. But
it is.
like for every one of those, there are like 5 How to Train Your Dragons or Kung Fu Pandas or Madagascars. Ones that like aim high and will mostly hit the mark.
Like I remember back in 2017, which was not a great year for animation. They released Captain Underpants, and that was such a delight of a movie. Like, and it's just like, yeah. So I think that's all I have to say. I liked Trolls World Tour. It still has a few story structure issues, but it's harmless. It's not one of the worst. I still think the Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back remake is still the worst animated film I've seen this year. If you have a family, I'd say rent it. But if it's
You
just
better
yourself,
be willing to watch it multiple times.
yeah. So and that's just me. It's a recommendation, but with an asterisk next to it.
I'm a little more positive towards Trolls World Tour. I still stand by my unusually high rating on Letterboxd, but talking through it has really solidified both the strengths and the weaknesses that this film has. Overall, I will recommend it. I think it's especially geared towards a younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a couple jokes that adults might chuckle at.
Yeah.
As far as sequels go, this is not top tier. It's more like it's mid tier for Pixar sequels. Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, DreamWorks.
Yeah. No, I definitely place it in the middle. Definitely not one of their best movies, but far from Shark Tales or Shrek the Third or Home.
It's below, I'd say, Over the Hedge.
Yeah. I mean, I need to see Over the Hedge again, but it's been ages.
Same.
Hey,
But
I will say, however, I think the worst DreamWorks movie is the one that everybody forgot about. You guys remember Joseph, the King of Dreams?
We don't talk about that.
Exactly.
At least,
So I think there is something worse than Shark Tale.
at least it wasn't as bad as that.
yeah, no, Shark Tale is still the worst, and
But it's got a charm to it because it's so bad.
But guys, Martin Scorsese.
oh
Martin
god,
Scorsese fished.
oh,
Not all whitefish can do it.
Thank you for that line.
With Trolls World Tour, you got to know what you're getting into. If you're expecting something along the lines of the movies I said before, like SpongeBob SquarePants the movie or the Lego movie, where on the surface it's loud and it's random and it's crazy, but deep down there's, in my opinion, there's like a lot of substance to it that requires you to watch it multiple times, not only because you want, like, there's a lot of stuff to take in, but also because it's really funny and you'll laugh out loud every time, and there's jokes that you miss every 2 seconds. This isn't the movie for you. It's a nice movie to put on in the background for your, like, while you're doing other things, or your kids can watch it if they're getting bored with their homework right now. I give it a cheat on your wife out of 10.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Kristal?
Well, yeah.
It's kind of troubling because I'm starting to see a trend with DreamWorks. It's been the same with Trolls 2, How to Train Your Dragon 3, and Kung Fu Panda 3, where it's just a cash grab. They're trying really hard to set up side characters, to start shows, make toys, and I understand it's what keeps the lights on, but I just miss the days of How to Train Your Dragon 2 and Kung Fu Panda 2. We rewatched Kung Fu Panda 2, and Josh got emotional. It was that. I don't know. It's kind of sad just to see what one of my favorite animation studios just kind of going down this sad, dark path.
Who would you give the movie?
I don't know. It's a good movie for kids. For kids, I give it probably like a 7 out of 10. But for a family movie, I'd give it a 4, maybe a 5.
That's fair.
That's fair.
How about we end this with some positivity? Let's talk about some like shows that we've been watching in animation wise, and then some recommendations maybe.
Well, I've already said at the top that DuckTales and Harley Quinn are my two. Those two right now are the ones that are keeping me happy throughout these quarantines.
Yeah. Harley Quinn is so good, and it almost feels like a show that would fall apart if they with one wrong story beat. But it's so funny. I love Clayface. I love King Shark. I love Dr. Psycho, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Dr. Psycho. And the same voice actor, Tony Hale, who voices Forky in Toy Story 4.
Oh, that's great. But I've been watching a lot of anime series because I just haven't been able to sit down and commit to it. I highly recommend people watch Beastars on Netflix. It's like a slightly sharper edged Zootopia. So there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of blood, there's murder, and there's sex. So absolutely. Yeah, so absolutely not for kids. But even though I described it as that, it's well written. The characters are great, and even though it uses CGI animation for its animation, it's done by a studio that knows how to work with it. You would forget at times that it's CGI. It's just a greatly written show. Just probably my favorite anime outside of Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin on Crunchyroll. And I also finished up Ultraman, and I'd highly recommend that if you're looking for something different with your action anime and such.
So Beastars and Ultraman. Yeah.
I almost recommended Scissor 7, which is Netflix's first Chinese animated series. Ooh. But it falls apart a little too much near the end. But if you want some quirky, dark humor, and the episodes are short, they're 15 minutes long. You won't miss much. But if you're looking for something for family and such for everyone to enjoy, watch the new Shaun the Sheep Netflix series. It is delightful, it's charming, and it's funny for just everyone.
I will definitely check that out, and I also need to catch up on Farmageddon.
I recommend that movie.
Josh, Kristal, do you guys have any recommendations before we close out?
Well, me and Josh haven't really been watching too many animated shows recently. I'm pretty sure I have mentioned in the last few podcasts that we binged the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender series because I had never fully watched it.
Oh, that must have been a treat. I love experiencing shows like that.
It was beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of Nickelodeon's best shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed.
It's really surprising to have to watch it again and just kind of look at it back in the lens that it was, where we I remember back when it was airing, and around that time SpongeBob and Danny Phantom were on, and Fairly Odd Parents. I mean, right. Most of those are still on now, but that was the predominating thing. And it was just what's this action show doing here? Oh, I hate that. I actually was a contrarian. I did not want to watch Avatar because it cut into my SpongeBob. And then one day I watched the Ember Island Players, and I realized, oh my God, I really like what I'm watching. and then the next thing I know, it's the finale.
That's a good episode to watch. It's super funny.
And just rewatching it, like every time I rewatch it, I'm blown away with how good it is, like writing wise. It's just so well executed.
Everything, the music, the acting, the writing, the Zuko Iroh. Oh my god, my favorite character.
And I tried to get her to watch Korra, but she couldn't get into it.
I couldn't. I just couldn't.
I promise the second half of Korra gets much better.
Korra was a victim of Nickelodeon's changing times. So, yeah, this show gets a little rough in some areas, but if you watch the episode where you find out the origins of the Avatar, it will make up for any of that. That's probably the best episode of the first half of the series.
That was the turning point for me when the show went from I'm watching it because it's connected to Avatar to I actually kind of really like this now.
Yeah, it's just a bummer. You kind of have to get through a lot of shenanigans.
When I hear stuff like that, I always get really I used to say that like, oh yeah, just get to the second half, but then I found myself like kind of seeing the opposite end of it when I would look on Twitter and people would recommend One Piece, and they would say, oh no, look, I know it's cringe, but after the first 900 episodes, I promise everything else is brilliant. Or with games like Final Fantasy 13, it's like, oh yeah, you have to wait through the first 35 hours, but after that, the other 60 are amazing. Where it's like, yeah, but if you have to go through most of half of the show
in order to enjoy it, then what's the point?
No, that's understandable. I totally get that, and yeah, that was my problem with Final Fantasy 13.
Let's say also with Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, we're not getting into that. We are allowed to have our guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's two strict animation shows that I want to recommend, I'd recommend, if you're able to find it, Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Oh my god.
That's a great one.
That was my childhood.
That was mine. Such a unique animation style, and it toes the line between being just weird and gross enough for only kids and clever enough for older viewers. The writing in those episodes is surprisingly smart for as stupid as it is.
It's the best kind of stupid. It's stupid that's, well, this is going to sound weird. It's smart stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Hilda, which I know I've mentioned before, but Hilda, it's the perfect show to watch, especially during this quarantine. Just laid back, chill, fantasy adventure, but really, really, really sweet and sincere.
Yeah. I second that. I love Hilda. That's such a good.
Oh yeah.
That's one that I need to hop on almost immediately.
One more that I need to plug in is just, see, I've noticed you guys are from a very different generation than what I am. I literally just turned 18 this week.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome, but I'm very close to Josh's generation, but not quite there. Mm-hmm. But my childhood cartoon was absolutely the 2012 Nickelodeon Ninja Turtle series.
Ooh,
that show! Yeah. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it's honestly, the first few episodes are really cringe rewatching them. Yeah. But this show grows so much. It literally grew with me. And by the end, the second to last season, because there's an extra season at the end where it's just a whole bunch of anthology stories. Mm-hmm. But the second to last season is so well written. I love it. So I definitely recommend that one.
I grew up with the 2000s Ninja Turtle show.
2003, hell yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I was too young to get into the 80s show, but I was at the right age to enjoy the 2003 one. So I need to check out this other one because I've heard great things, and it has a bunch of voice actors I like in it.
Oh yeah,
It's on Hulu if you get a chance. Like all the seasons are on there.
Yeah.
Rob Paulson making a comeback as Donatello. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go, guys. Plenty of recommendations for your to scratch that animation itch.
Yeah.
Now, where can
times of doing absolutely nothing?
Indeed. All right, well, I guess that's a wrap for today. Josh, Kristal, where can they find you guys on the internet?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at JoshBoy64.
Get ready for a long plug.
Later on this month, I'm going to upload the Creative Burnout of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss Part 3, the epic finale of my 3-part big critique on the last season of Game of Thrones and the creators. You can find me on Facebook in the group. I'm in a wheelchair. Hopefully, I'll graduate to crutches soon. You can find me on Twitter at JSH Lozano. I use the same picture I used for the past 4 years, not counting the wheelchair one. If I get 10 more followers, I will change my picture.
Oh my god.
She'll probably make me change it sooner. And that's basically it. If there's one more thing I want to shout out, an old a YouTube account that I actually was somewhat I talked to around the time I did my big YouTube video on Marvel. Go give Low Poly Mode a shout out on YouTube. He does mostly video games, but he's got like a nice little thing going for him, and some of his videos are really good. There was one that he did on Uncharted's multiplayer that I absolutely adored, and it was just childhood for me watching that video and how he would talk about it.
Nice.
And for me, you can find me on Twitter at simply_ragu816. And Josh insists that I plug this in my TikTok under the same name. And I also have a Facebook, Kristal Gillum, and I'm on the Renegade Pop Culture forum or whatever, the page. And that's about it.
All right, Cameron, what about you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook in the group, or you can find me on Twitter at Cam's Eye View. I think my Instagram is the same one. I need to start focusing on that. I have a website called camseyeview.biz where you can catch all my animation reviews, editorials, and some of my previous work on there. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/camseyeview.biz. I recently put out a review for the anime action film Sword of the Stranger. It's a film I highly recommend if you want a good action film to watch that's not live action. And that's really it. Oh, and I know we forgot to bring this up, but I want to give a shout out to Leica for being an awesome studio by keeping everyone on the payroll while this whole thing is going on. So,
oh yeah,
yes,
Travis Knight is like the best human right now.
Yes, so shout out to Travis Knight being a good egg amongst these depressing times and of people losing their jobs and whatnot. I commemorate him for doing that, and even though they're not being able to work on anything, he's making sure the employees come first. So that's
Good
it.
on him. You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. Letterboxd, you can check out all my quick thoughts at letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And look for me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name, Michael K. Thank you guys for listening to episode 2 of Tooned Up. And we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.